Interpreting the film, Eternity from a Buddhist Perspective Part 19. Eternity Under Chains. Thank you for joining today's discussion. We're going to take a deep dive into a pivotal discussion from the film Eternal. Specifically, we will analyze the insights of a master who shares his views on Buddhist philosophy and life with his apprentice. Our goal is to extract the deeper meanings behind concepts like attachment, suffering, enlightenment, and the seemingly romantic idea of eternal love, based on the master's analysis. Let's start by examining the master's perspective on Apati. Initially, she demanded that Shang Meng take responsibility, but after he hit her, she did a complete 180-degree turn, saying she wanted to break free. What was the master's take on this? The master believed that Apati's survival instincts kicked in after being hit. She calmed down and realized it wasn't the right time to demand a commitment. However, the master also pointed out that this is a classic case of being too clever for one's own good. Her intelligence wasn't used to see the truth, but rather for calculations, to seek advantages, and avoid harm. This type of calculation, he argued, only leads to more worry and attachment. Her cleverness trapped her. What about Shang Meng? When he was about to die, he didn't want to break the chain. He even wanted to get close to Apati to dance, which she found incredibly romantic. This seems very connected to the master's ideas about attachment and suffering, right? Absolutely. The master directly stated that this was a case of romanticizing suffering. It's like the sentiment of dying beautifully beneath the moon and flowers. However, it's a completely self-serving delusion. The master pointed out that this so-called romance completely ignores the horrific reality of dragging a body that's starting to rot and grow maggots. Where is the romance in that? He argued this behavior is the complete opposite of the Buddhist concept of acting for the benefit of all sentient beings. The master saw this kind of self-serving action as a direct source of suffering. However, Shang Meng later unexpectedly apologized. The master had a different view on this change. The master noted the saying, "When a person is about to die, their words are good." At that moment, Shang Meng was calmer. He might have studied some Buddhist teachings before, and the seeds of goodness naturally emerged. He realized his mistakes and felt the need for repentance. The master specifically emphasized that this was different from the way most people let go of grudges before death. What's the difference? Shang Meng's awakening was rooted in Buddhist principles, making its quality much higher. The master used an analogy. It's like the difference between gold and iron. So, even in such a dire situation, the influence of the Dharma can still manifest. Later, Apati compared their relationship to a parent-child relationship, one where they fight but can't separate. She tried to rationalize their eternal bond with the chains, but the master immediately exposed the crucial point. They were physically and eternally bound by an iron chain. This isn't like an ordinary argument where you can temporarily get away. The chain intensified and accelerated all the Buddhist concepts of suffering, such as love separation, unfulfilled desires, and hatred and meaning those you despise. Therefore, the masters believed that their pursuit of a perpetually good feeling was a complete delusion. The master's take on the old man using the chain to bind them was also quite unique. He called it an act of compassion. The old man used reality to force them to verify and personally experience that their delusion of eternal love was false. This is similar to the master's frequent teaching. Practice is the sole criterion for testing the truth. This interpretation is incredibly counterintuitive, using pain to make people see through their delusions. So, what was the master's view when Shang Meng later asked Apati to shoot and kill him? He believed it showed that Shang Meng still couldn't do it himself. He was still using the other person to end his own suffering. Apati's hesitation also showed she was calculating her own interests. Right up until their deaths, they were still using each other, driven by their own desires and fears. As for Apati putting their heads together to shoot themselves, The master bluntly said it was foolish and showed she didn't know how to use a gun. It truly portrays human nature to the core. When a potty died and Shang Meng begged for the key, the old man only replied with the word eternal. To most people, this would sound incredibly cruel. But the master's perspective was completely different. He said it wasn't cruelty, but wisdom. And it was based on Buddhist love, not the kind of love we typically associate with a father. The old man understood Theravada Buddhism well. His action was meant to create a condition to force Shang Meng to practice impurity meditation and skeleton meditation. This practice involves contemplating the body's decomposition from an impure state to a final skeleton. This is a method to completely break free from the attachment to the physical body and emotions. The master emphasized that this is a necessary path to achieve sainthood in cultivation. The master stressed that acting based on emotions will only make things worse. Only wisdom can bring liberation. The butler considered the old man cruel because he didn't understand Buddhist principles and could only view the situation from his own limited perspective. The word eternal, it turns out, was meant to guide Shang Meng towards his spiritual practice. Later, Shang Meng seemed to have started cleaning the corpse, but the madam came and cut the chain. The master pointed out that Shang Meng's foundation was good. He was well versed in the Dharma. The old man's arrangement, the iron chain and the corpse, was a powerful medicine to cure his attachment. However, the madam, acting out of what people would call good intentions, or what the master called acting based on emotions, cut the chain and severely disrupted Shang Meng's practice. It was a case of good intentions leading to a disastrous outcome. The master said it was a huge mistake because to practice impurities and skeleton meditation, a complete corpse is most effective. With only a part of it, the effect is greatly diminished. In summary, through his analysis of this story, the master reveals how easily we are fooled by fleeting sensations or seemingly romantic words. We pursue a state of goodness that can never truly be eternal or unchanging. These attachments, however, often contain immense suffering, even if we are unaware of it. This analysis is truly thought-provoking. It makes us reflect. Are there feelings, relationships, or states of being in our own lives that we desperately want to hold on to forever? Could this desire actually be an invisible chain constantly tested by reality, which ultimately makes us feel more trapped and miserable? The master's perspective reminds us that true freedom and peace may not come from holding on tightly, but from seeing the truth and finding a sense of release after letting go of our attachments. This is a question worth contemplating in your own life.